Hello there. Did you know that you can be held legally liable even if you didn't do anything wrong? Imagine keeping something safely on your property, then one day, it escapes and causes damage.
Boom.
You're responsible. Today on Insurance World TV, we unpack a powerful legal principle that applies in Kenya today, the rule in Rylands versus Fletcher. We'll explain what it means, where it came from, and how it could affect you as a homeowner, business person, or even a dog owner. Let's dive in. Introduction. The rule in Rylands versus Fletcher, 1868. This is a legal rule which states that a person who, for his own purposes, brings onto his land and keeps there anything likely to do mischief if it escapes, must keep it at his peril. If he does not, he is prima facie answerable for all the damage which is the natural consequence of its escape. Here's the problem. Many people assume that they're only legally responsible if they were careless or negligent. But that's not always true. What if your water tank bursts and floods a neighbor's shop? Or your guard dog escapes and injures someone walking by? Or you store chemicals that leak and damage nearby property? Even if you took precautions, you could still be held liable under this legal rule, Rylands versus Fletcher. It's a situation where doing everything right isn't enough. Origin of the rule. Let me explain the origin of this rule and how it came to be. The rule in Rylands versus Fletcher comes from an 1868 case in England. In this case, a man named Rylands built a reservoir on his land. Unbeknownst to him, underneath the ground were abandoned mine shafts. When the reservoir was filled, water leaked through and flooded Fletcher's working coal mine. Even though Rylands didn't know about the mines and wasn't negligent, the court ruled that he was liable. Why? Because he brought something dangerous, water, and it escaped, causing damage. Let's say it again. A person who, for his own purposes, brings onto his land and keeps there anything likely to do mischief if it escapes, must keep it at his peril. This was the birth of the strict liability principle, where fault doesn't matter, but consequences do. How this rule works. So, how does this rule work, and what does it require? 1. You brought something onto your property for your own purpose. 2. That thing is likely to cause harm if it escapes. It did escape. It caused damage to someone else's property or person. Key features of the rule.
1.
It imposes strict liability, liability without fault.
2.
It applies to non-natural use of land, e.g., keeping aggressive animals.
3.
The injured party does not need to prove negligence, only that damage occurred due to an escape. Why it is applicable in Kenya. This rule applies in Kenya because it was inherited through English common law. Courts in Kenya have applied it in cases involving burst water pipes, stray animals, uncontrolled fires, and more. Its application in real life. Example 1. Dog walking. Dog escapes and causes injury. You're walking your dog in the estate or on a public street. Suddenly, the leash breaks and your dog runs off and bites a pedestrian or causes a cyclist to fall. Even if it was an accident or the handler wasn't careless, you are still liable under this rule. Legal implication. Even if you weren't negligent, maybe the leash was new or the Shamba boy was walking the dog. you're still strictly liable under the Rylands versus Fletcher principle.
Why?
Because you brought and kept a potentially dangerous animal, a dog, in a public space, and it escaped and caused harm. Important: Kenyan courts recognize dogs, especially larger or aggressive breeds, as animals that can cause mischief if they escape. Example 2. Gas cylinder explosion, causing fire or injury. You keep a gas cylinder in your home, business like a hotel, cabana or salon, or apartment. Due to a leak, poor maintenance, or overheating, the cylinder explodes, causing fire that damages neighboring property or injures others. Again, you didn't mean for it to happen, but the rule still holds you responsible. Legal implication: even if the explosion was accidental, you're strictly liable because you were keeping something inherently dangerous, gas, for your own use. If it escapes and causes harm, you're responsible under Rylands versus Fletcher. Example 3. Fire escaping from your compound or business. You burn garbage or cook using firewood or charcoal at home or in your small business premises, like a cabana or car wash. Due to wind or lack of supervision, the fire spreads and damages your neighbor's property. Legal implication: even if you didn't mean to cause harm and were not careless, you may still be strictly liable because fire is considered something dangerous. Once it escapes and causes damage, you are responsible under the Rylands versus Fletcher principle. Example 4. Oil or fuel leaking from stored containers. You store diesel or oil for generators, machines, or boda fueling at home or your business. One container leaks and the oil contaminates a neighbor's water source or garden. Legal implication: storing fuel is considered a non-natural use of land. If it escapes and causes harm, even without negligence, you are liable under strict liability. This is why it's called strict liability. It's not about what you intended, it's about what happened. Now what? Protect yourself. Here is how to protect yourself. So, how do you protect yourself? First, be aware of what you keep on your property, especially things that could escape and cause damage. Second, make sure you have personal liability insurance. This can come under a domestic package policy or even a business owner's policy. Third, educate those around you, like your employees, domestic workers, or pet handlers, on proper safety practices. How does insurance come in? Great question. Insurance plays a crucial role in mitigating the financial consequences of liability under the rule in Rylands versus Fletcher, especially because this rule imposes strict liability, meaning you can be held responsible even if you were not negligent. Here's how insurance comes in.
1.
In personal liability insurance, your first line of defense. Included in domestic package policies, this cover protects you if you're held legally liable for injury or damage to a third party caused by something on your property, e.g., dogs, water tanks, falling trees, etc. Example: if your dog escapes and bites a neighbor, or your water tank bursts and floods a nearby house, personal liability insurance will cover. Legal defense costs. Compensation to third parties, bodily injury or property damage. Medical expenses. 2. Public liability insurance, for businesses or property owners. If you own a business, even a home-based one, you may be exposed to strict liability if what you keep escapes and harms others. Public liability insurance protects you from claims arising from fire or explosions, chemical leaks, collapsing walls or storage, business-related pet attacks, e.g., guard dogs. 3. Pet liability insurance, often included under personal or specialized covers. In Kenya, there is growing awareness around the risks of owning aggressive pets like dogs. Pet liability is either a section in personal/domestic liability policies, a rider, additional cover, in more comprehensive policies. It covers you if your pet causes injury or damage, even if it wasn't your fault. Key point: insurance covers the consequences, not the escape. Under Rylands versus Fletcher, you're liable not because of negligence, but because something escaped and caused harm. Insurance doesn't stop the event, but it pays for the aftermath, so your savings and assets remain protected. Final takeaway: if you keep anything on your property that can cause damage if it escapes, be it water, animals, fuel, or fire, make sure you have liability insurance. It's the smart way to protect your finances from unexpected legal claims. Insurance is your safety net. It cushions you from unexpected claims and lawsuits, even when the law says you're strictly liable. So, next time you're walking your dog or setting up that backyard project, remember, what escapes from your property could escape into a lawsuit against you. Thanks for watching Insurance World TV. If you found this helpful, hit the like button, share with other pet owners or homeowners, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights into insurance, safety, and law in Kenya.